Hey everyone, and welcome to this explainer. I'm so incredibly glad you're here studying with me today. Just think of me as your study buddy, your peer tutor, ready to tackle chemistry together. So today we're diving straight into Unit 6, Stoichiometry. I know, it sounds like a weird disease or some kind of ancient language right off the bat, but trust me, it is a totally manageable lesson. The textbook actually mentions that a major goal of this chapter is to acquaint you with fundamental concepts about matter. And honestly, this is knowledge that will absolutely help you way down the road when you hit grade 11. So we're setting a really strong foundation right here. Think of it not as abstract science, but literally just as the process of balancing chemical ingredients. The introduction of our textbook talks a bit about ancient Greek philosophers who thought everything was just made of water or air, and it even mentions John Dalton's 19th century atomic theory. It kind of makes the whole subject sound like an incredibly complex ancient mystery to solve. But honestly, don't let the big words or the histories scare you. As your peer tutor, I promise we are going to simplify all of that math right now together. We're going to crush this chapter. To get us in the exact right mindset, I really want you to think about this question. Have you ever tried to have a baking recipe? Let's say you want cookies, but you don't want a massive batch. You need exactly half the sugar, half the flour, and half the chocolate chips so they still actually taste right. Well, stoichiometry is basically just that. It's understanding how to scale down our chemical ingredients, which in our case are atoms. Okay, let's dive into this. To master this recipe analogy for section 6.1, we need to look at two totally different ways to write out our ingredients, the molecular formula and the empirical formula. The molecular formula is our exact recipe. It tells us the actual whole number ratio and the specific types of atoms in a molecule. But the empirical formula? That's the core, absolute simplest, reduced ratio of those ingredients. Let's look at the actual definition of a molecular formula. The text defines it as an expression that specifies the exact number of atoms of each element in one molecule of a compound. Now, I'm warning you, as your study buddy here, this is a major student learning outcome listed right at the very top of the chapter. You absolutely must memorize this exact definition. It's a classic exam question, and grabbing those easy points is exactly how we're going to ace this test. Then we have the empirical formula. The textbook defines this one as the chemical formula that gives the simplest integer ratio of the atoms of each element. Did you hear that phrase? Simplest, integer, ratio. Highlight that in your brain. So the crucial point is that this exact phrase is the absolute trick to solving the hardest calculation questions in this entire chapter. It really just means taking your molecular recipe and dividing it down to the smallest whole numbers possible. And this brilliantly illustrates exactly how we do the math. Let's walk through an example directly from the text. Hydrogen peroxide. Step 1. We write down the actual molecular formula, which the book tells us is H2O2. Step 2. We find our ingredient ratio. If you look at those little subscripts, we have 2 hydrogen atoms and 2 oxygen atoms. Step 3. We reduce it. Since both numbers are divisible by 2, we just simplify it down to HO. The simplest ratio of hydrogen to oxygen is 1:1. Boom, that's your empirical formula. Let's try another one together, just you and me. Let's look at benzene. Step 1, write the exact molecular recipe, C6H6. Step 2, identify the ratio. The text tells us it actually contains 6 carbon atoms and 6 hydrogen atoms per molecule. Step 3, we look for a common denominator to reduce it. Since they're both 6, we just divide everything by 6, and we get our empirical formula, CH. It simplifies perfectly to a 1:1 ratio. See? It's just reducing fractions. Nothing crazy. All right, time for a quick quiz. This is an active recall check pulled right from the text to see if you're tracking with this whole recipe analogy. The book tells us that the simplest ratio between carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen atoms in glucose is 1:2:1. Think about it for a second. Got your answer? If the simplified ratio is 1 carbon to 2 hydrogen to 1 oxygen, what is the empirical formula? The empirical formula of glucose is CH2O. Did you get it right? I bet you totally did. Now, what's really fascinating here is that the text points out the full, exact molecular recipe for glucose is actually C6H12O6. It shows that every single molecule of glucose has 6 carbon atoms, 12 hydrogen atoms, and 6 oxygen atoms. But because we wanted the simplest ratio, we just divided all those numbers by our common denominator of 6 to get that CH2O base. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is that it shows a massive exam trap that catches so many students off guard. Take a look at this list straight from the end of the section. Water is H2O. Carbon dioxide is CO2. Ammonia is NH3. Methane is CH4. Sulfur dioxide is SO2. Do you notice a pattern here? For all of these compounds, the molecular formula and the empirical formula are exactly the same. The exact recipe and the simplest ratio match perfectly. So the crucial point is understanding exactly why they are the same, so you aren't just memorizing blind facts, but truly understanding the chemistry. Think about water, H2O. That's 2 hydrogens and 1 oxygen. You cannot mathematically reduce a 2-to-1 ratio any further and still have whole numbers. 1 is already the lowest common denominator. I mean, you can't exactly take a tiny chainsaw and chop an oxygen atom in half, right? Since we can't do that, the molecular formula is already sitting in its absolute simplest empirical state. The textbook actually closes out this section with a direct challenge, and I want to pass it right on to you. Try writing out the math for ammonia, NH3, or methane, CH4, on your own right now. Prove to yourself why they can't be mathematically reduced any further. Keep that in mind, keep practicing your ingredient balancing, and you will totally ace Chapter 6. Thanks for studying with me today.